Hi there. Today we are going to listen a story about a wolf and the seven lambs. Once upon a time, in a beautiful green valley, there lived a mother sheep with her seven little lambs. They had a small, cozy cottage near a bubbling brook, surrounded by tall trees and blooming flowers. The mother sheep loved her lambs very much and took great care of them. The lambs were playful and full of energy, always hopping around and enjoying the sunshine. One day, before leaving for the meadow to find food, the mother sheep gathered her lambs and warned them, "Dear children, I am going to the meadow to graze. But you must be very careful. There is a cunning wolf in the forest. If he comes here, do not open the door for him under any circumstances. He may try to trick you, but you must not fall for his lies. I will knock on the door and say my special song so that you know it's me." The lambs nodded eagerly, promising their mother that they would be careful. The mother sheep kissed them all and left, trotting towards the meadow. The lambs played happily inside the house, humming songs and jumping around. Not long after, the wicked wolf, who had been hiding behind the trees, came creeping towards the cottage. He had overheard the mother sheep's warning and now had a plan to trick the little lambs. He knocked on the door and, in his rough and growling voice, said, "Dear little ones, open the door. It is your mother. I have brought you fresh grass and sweet treats." The lambs stopped playing and rushed towards the door. But the eldest lamb, who was the wisest, said, "Wait. That does not sound like our mother's voice. Our mother has a sweet and gentle voice, but this voice is rough and deep. You are not our mother. Go away, you wicked wolf." The wolf gritted his teeth in anger and stomped away. But he was determined to fool the lambs. He ran to a nearby farm and stole a jar of honey. He licked the honey to make his voice softer. Then, he returned to the cottage and knocked again. This time, he said in a sweeter voice, "Dear little ones, open the door. It is your mother. I have brought you fresh grass and sweet treats." The lambs listened carefully, and the youngest one rushed to open the door. But the eldest lamb stopped her again and said, "Wait. Let us see your feet through the gap under the door. Our mother's feet are white and soft, but the wolf's feet are dark and rough." The wolf growled in frustration and ran away again. This time, he went to a miller and rolled in the flour to make his feet white. Then, he rushed back to the cottage, knocked on the door, and said in the softest voice he could, "Dear little ones, open the door. It is your mother. Look, my feet are white, just like our mother's." The lambs looked under the door and saw the white feet. They thought it was their mother and joyfully opened the door. But the moment they did, the wicked wolf burst inside with his sharp teeth flashing. The lambs screamed and ran in all directions, trying to hide. One lamb hid under the bed, another inside the cupboard, a third in the fireplace, a fourth behind the curtains, a fifth in a large pot, and a sixth under the carpet. The youngest lamb, the smallest of them all, quickly jumped inside the grandfather clock and shut the door tight. The hungry wolf searched every corner of the house, finding the lambs one by one. He gobbled them up quickly, licking his lips after each bite. But he did not find the youngest lamb, who was trembling inside the clock. Satisfied with his feast, the wolf patted his full belly and staggered outside. He lay down under a big tree near the brook and soon fell into a deep sleep. A little while later, the mother sheep returned home. As she reached the door, she saw it wide open and the furniture scattered everywhere. Her heart sunk with fear. She called out for her lambs, but there was no answer. She searched every corner of the house, but 6 of her dear lambs were nowhere to be found. Just then, she heard a faint sobbing sound coming from the grandfather clock. She quickly opened the door, and the youngest lamb jumped into her arms, crying, "Mother! The wolf came and ate all my brothers and sisters. He tricked us and swallowed them whole." The mother sheep was heartbroken but did not lose hope. She comforted the youngest lamb and then stepped outside. Not far from the house, she saw the wicked wolf sleeping soundly under the tree, his belly full and round. She could hear faint noises coming from his stomach. My babies are still alive, she thought. She hurried back to the house and grabbed a pair of sharp scissors, a needle, and some thread. Then, with quiet steps, she approached the sleeping wolf and carefully cut open his belly. One by one, the 6 lambs came out, blinking in surprise. They were frightened but unharmed. The mother sheep hugged them tightly, tears of joy filling her eyes. "Now, let's teach this wicked wolf a lesson," she whispered. She filled his belly with heavy stones and quickly sewed it back up with the thread. Then, she and her lambs tiptoed away, hiding behind the bushes. A little while later, the wolf woke up, feeling very heavy. "What is this? Why do I feel so full?" he groaned. He stood up and waddled towards the brook to drink some water. But as he bent down, the weight of the stones pulled him forward, and he fell into the water with a loud splash. The current was strong, and the wolf struggled, but the heavy stones dragged him down. With one last yelp, he sunk beneath the waves and was never seen again. The mother sheep and her lambs cheered with happiness. They returned to their cottage, safe and sound. The lambs learned a valuable lesson that day, to always be cautious and never trust strangers. And from that day on, they listened carefully to their mother's warnings. They lived happily ever after, playing in the meadows, dancing in the sunshine, and growing up to be wise and strong sheep. And the cunning wolf? He never troubled anyone again.